Welcome to Brampton Focus. Well, you know, the popularity of soccer has increased in North America. And if you consider the great winning success of Toronto FC, it's closer to Brampton than it's ever been before. My name is Michael A. Charbon. Listen, Brampton, don't fret. You have a winning soccer team right here. Next on Brampton Focus, we meet the national Canadian champions of the Under-14 Soccer Club, right here from Brampton, Ontario. Next on Brampton Focus. Welcome back to Brampton Focus. Well, they won the National Under-14 Championship. They won the Ontario Cup in 2015, and they are the national champions. They're called the Brampton East Blades, and we're here joined by their coach, Hedi Othman, who is the coach, and his star captain, Alawasan Oyegunle, who is number 17, and he is the captain. You guys, welcome to Brampton Focus. Congratulations from all the folks in Brampton and from all those people who watched you guys win the championship. That's great that you can, first of all, bring it home to Canada, but more importantly, bring it home to Brampton. How does that make you feel, Coach?
It's a great feeling for sure. The entire team is still excited despite some time now that has gone by, and we're all looking forward to make a great season indoor and also follow up with the defending our national championship.
Defending your national championship, absolutely. So Alawasan, I got to talk to you. Tell the folks at home how tall you are.
Around 6'2", 6'3".
6'2", 6'3", 14 years old, and he's a captain of a star soccer club. How does it feel to have a Canadian champion under your belt?
Well, it's good for me and my team, you know. Makes us feel better, you know. We feel nice about ourselves.
So your parents originally came from Nigeria, and you were born here in Brampton. How does it feel to be able to tell your friends that you're a soccer champion?
Well, you know, it feels nice because not that many people have the chance to say that. Yeah. Not that many people have the chance to say they're on the best team in Canada.
You know, it's interesting. Canada's known as a hockey country. We play a little bit of CFL football. Lacrosse is another one of those sports. Soccer now, because of Toronto FC, has become so much more. And soccer now, indoors and outdoors, has really gained in popularity. How much have you seen support grow for your sport and your team since you started to play?
Well, it's been a lot because from the start, it was mostly in Europe that soccer was like being played, but now that TFC and many Canadian soccer players are doing better, it's becoming more known in Canada.
So you've got a roster of 18 people on your crew. Are there a couple of people that are always your go-to? You're a midfield player, right? So you're a playmaker, not necessarily a goal scorer. So you, and as well as the captain, you have to look at all the variables that you have there. Are there certain things that you look for in another player? Is it speed? Is it being able to control the ball? What do you look for as a captain?
Well, all of our attackers can finish. All of our attackers can produce for our team. Yep. You know, even the defenders. So it's whoever's open or in the right spot that I usually tend to hit.
What's the future of soccer like, from your opinion? I mean, you're still going to school. You're in grade 9 now. Your objective one day is to play pro. So you want to be able to continue your soccer career. What does it look like in Brampton now for soccer? Is it continuing to grow? Is there more people coming in? Is it staying the same? How do you see it?
Well, it looks like more people are coming around, like more scouts are coming, offering people like scholarships and all that. So yeah. I think it will go well. So scholarship is pretty important. What's the process by which you have to work to eventually work your way into a scholarship? Well, work hard, you know, yeah. Train, listen to your coach, and I think do good. You know, Hedi, it's a wonderful example of how sports can produce great men and women, and sports is a great molder, one would say, of character. And Alawasan is a perfect example. How proud are you for some of the people that are on your team? And I commend you on the one, and your parents too. But you know, coach has an influence. How does that make you feel as a coach? It's a really wonderful feeling. I've had Alawasan and a good number of the boys on the team now since U8. So that's 8 years old, 9 years old. And I've seen them grow up, improve in all aspects of their game.
and I am very, very proud of that.
You know, it's interesting when you talk about a country that loves hockey and plays hockey. The two sports that they encourage hockey players to play in the off season, one is lacrosse and two is soccer, because tactically there are very many similarities. When you coach a team, and particularly, I mean, you've got under 13 impressionable young men, sometimes the attention can go just a little bit less. How do you motivate them? How do you get them to come along? What's your secret, Coach?
It's a challenge in the beginning. I think we end up with a routine at some point where they know what we need to achieve, and my approach to all the practices and the games becomes familiar to them. And at the end of the day, they will realize and adapt to what the coach sets up. But no, I'm seeing a lot of difference as they get to the stage of teenage. You have some reactions sometimes that I need to adapt to and adjust my approach to how I deal with them. But overall, I think they are very receptive to
So this is under 13 teams. Are they paying to play? Are they sponsored? Do they generate fund? What's the financial vertical to be able to post a team like this?
So we are currently under 15. We've started a while back, and we've gone through the U13 period.
Right.
This season we are U15, and all the players have to pay certain fees, including club fees and then rep fees, because we are in at the competitive category, and all the fees that come with traveling and playing in different cities. Then we've got the Ontario Cup. We have to travel a little further.
So who pays for all that, Coach? That's what I want to get to.
So parents have to come up with the cost, pay the cost of the traveling and the uniforms. Sometimes we're having to rent facilities for additional practices,
right?
And the parents have to pay.
So, you know, we know lots of stories of parents who have kids who play rep hockey. Can be between $4,000 and $8,000. Are we talking that expensive to participate in this level of soccer as well?
That is an accurate amount for the majority of the teams competing at our level. We have succeeded in reducing the cost by a limited fundraising that we've done. So we are below that amount, and we're possibly the lowest cost team. And that's.
Are you getting any funding from the city or from the province?
We no, but in the nationals we have had some help.
Well, the Canadian Soccer Association, right?
Yeah, it's the help we got to travel to Moncton, New Brunswick. That's where the nationals took place. We had some financial assistance from OSA, Ontario Soccer Association.
Well, Hedi, when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion. We have two more segments, but I do want to say congratulations to number 14, Alawasim Uyagunle. Thank you so much for being here. Number 17, 14 years old. You're going to see this guy again, and we'll continue to keep our eye on you. Good luck on your scholarship, and keep that stiff upper lip. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
My name's Michael Charbon. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about soccer. Lots more here on Brampton Focus, and we shall return right after this brief message. Welcome back to Brampton Focus. They're called the Brampton East Blades, and they won the national championship in the under 14 soccer championship. And we've got the coach here, Mr. Hedi Othman, and one of his star players, center forward Adam Othman, number 14. No, sorry, he's number 7. Sorry, but he's 14 years of age. Hedi, I'm going to go to you first. Your final game, your championship game, was in Moncton, and it was a heck of a game. You had some weather problems, but it was a very challenging game. Take us back to the game in Moncton and tell our folks at home a little bit about what some of the challenges were that you experienced.
We had to get up and take a bus ride. We found out that the weather was going to be cold. There was some rain, but I think the factor that affected the game more than anything else was the wind. But all combined to make it really difficult weather conditions for both teams, I should say. But we had a plan. Despite the weather.
How do you make a plan in soccer? I mean, I always hear the coach say, we got a plan. I mean, how do you get a plan? You got to shoot, you got to pass. What's the plan? What's a plan for soccer?
We have to balance. Our strategy is to make sure that we're tight in the back. We could not concede early, for instance. It's very, very important for us to make sure that we go up a goal instead of being down a goal. And
were you able to scout the other team? Did you know them?
Yes, I have watched the team twice, and I knew their strength. They're Fraser Valley, British Columbia. And they have a decent squad. The forwards were very dangerous.
So when you have one who's dangerous, is that someone that you have your team focus on? Is there that guy that you double team more so than the other?
Typically, that's what coaches do.
Yeah.
In my case, in that game, I didn't have to do that. I've done that in other games, but not in that particular one.
So you played zone?
The dangerous player was playing a little bit deep and getting the ball from close to his 18-yard and box and then attacking. So we had our midfield set up in a really good way where we controlled his movement from the midfield on, but I did not have to assign him to any specific player.
Interesting. So Adam, you're a center forward, and I mean soccer is one of those games where you always have to train. You have to be limber. You have to have good hair, and you've always got to be running. It's physically attacking. What's the hardest part of playing a soccer for you?
Well, for me, it's probably confidence, because when I'm lacking confidence, I tend to have a bad game or a bad practice. So I think it's confidence.
So how do you get that confidence back?
Well, before the game, I always prepare myself mentally by thinking, how could I play? What's my strengths, my weaknesses, and how can I improve?
So when, and that's your dad. I mean, I coached hockey for 15 years for Applewood, and I had my son who played with me. How hard is it to have the old man on the deck that you got to ride home in the car with and ride there in the car? How hard is it having your dad as a coach?
It's pretty hard. He's always a bit harder on me,
yeah,
of course, because I'm his son. But also,
but you'll both better in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, he gives me good advice, and he always keeps my morale up. So it's good to have him, I guess. Yeah.
You're a lucky man. So I got to ask you the question. When I heard Hedi explain, as we did a brief little chat beforehand, your end game sounded like the TFC game, Toronto FC and Montreal. It was rainy, it was cold, it was ugly. It's one of those sports. It's kind of like mailmen. You know, through rain, sleet, hail, or snow, I shall play soccer until we win. It gets cold. Your muscles get cramped. It's a heck of a challenge to play the sport, more so than people think the sunny, wonderful Italian seaside villa, right?
Yeah, it's very hard when you're playing in different weather conditions because you have to adapt to the weather. And when it's cold, you know, it kind of affects your performance. When it's raining, you tend to slip here and there. So you always have to be ready for the weather condition.
So Adam, where do you go from here? You're 14 years of age. You're very mature for your age. I mean, I think the sports has done you well. It has made you into a man. Where do you go from here? Is soccer something that you want to follow? Do you think soccer has made you a better person? Is it a life lesson? What did you gain out of this, and where do you go from here?
Well, what I think I gained from soccer is probably charisma, confidence, of course, and how to be supportive to other people and working in a team. So that's going to help a lot. And I want to become a professional, so I'm going to work very hard, of course. Yeah.
And what does that road take you? I mean, I had the opportunity to talk to Alawasin, your captain. I mean, you look up to someone like that, a skilled player, very well spoken, very responsible young man. What does that career path mean for you? How do you get there?
Well, it's all about hard work and dedication. So I guess I have to work really hard on my technique and all that to make it there.
So I've got to ask you the question that are on many people's minds out there. I hope you're there. Is it soccer or is it football? I mean, we have, you talk to anybody in the European leagues, it's all football, but we kind of have the word football, America, Canadian, CFL, NFL, TFC. What is it for you? Is it soccer or is it football?
It's football.
It's called football.
Yeah. My parents both, one is North African and one's Jamaican, so in both of their countries it's called football. So they raised me that way to call it football.
They raised me that way, and they did a good job, Adam, I might say. So when you look at where you go to school, is soccer something that's continuing to move forward? Do you see more people becoming engaged in that?
Yeah, a lot of people are interested in the sport and they always want to improve, and they like watching soccer and playing it as well. So it's a big thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Hedi, I got to tell you, I'm very impressed of the two players that you brought us and shared with Brampton Focus. You've done a good job. It's things like that that make a difference. If a parent is out there looking and thinking, can their child be a part of a league of this? What type of skill set does their child have to be able to compete?
Well, we're fortunate that way. Soccer has grown tremendously in our region, and possibly all over the country. But you have to look for a club. Brampton East Soccer Club is where we are, and you can start from the house league, work your way to the rep level.
Yeah, and there's lots of rep level. There's lots of indoor soccer as well. Right. When we come back, we're going to speak to the manager of the club. We're talking to the Brampton East Blades. I'd like to thank Adam Othman. I wish you the best of luck. Look out for number 7, center forward. My name is Michael A. Charbon. Back with more Brampton Focus right after this. Welcome back to Brampton Focus, and you can be Brampton proud. We have here the team. They're called the Brampton East Blades, and they won the Under-14 Canadian Championship. And we have the coach, and we have the manager, Coach Hedi Othman, and beside him, the lovely Janet Othman. This is the team of folks who brought us a Canadian championship in soccer. First of all, thank you for doing that, because there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. And as we can see, it becomes a family affair. Janet, I've got to say it must be quite a challenge. You've got one child who's on the team. You've got coach who's heading the team, but you're still God. You're the manager. You still decide what goes. How hard is it to be so immersed in your family and soccer?
I'm a people person. So I love looking after these young, talented players. They're all ranging from different backgrounds. What I did best is to try to get to know them individually, and that way I can incorporate everything into the field. Also, I get to know the parents too, one-on-one. So they help us a lot to help with this. So, you know, we're
parental funding is huge for you, is it not?
Yes, funding is a big factor for these young boys. We have quite a few parents on the team too. I'm one parent is a single mother of 5. So you have to picture that mother have 3 kids in soccer, 2 players are in rep, which, you know, is very expensive. It can range anywhere from $400 to $800 per season. Yeah. So that can be very challenging.
And training for soccer is all year round. Some people may think that it's just in the fields as you would in the summertime, but training takes place. Land training is huge. And getting facilities in Brampton is tough, is it not, indoors?
It is very tough indoors, and indoor is the most expensive time of the season. So funding and fundraising is very important to the team if we want them to develop as a player. Also, we're looking at these players also too, that they're dedicating their time to soccer. They could have been out there doing a lot of things, but they're doing something that they love so that they can keep them off the street and get them focused and also help them in their schoolwork.
How fulfilling or how how gratifying is it to see when you see these young minds, and when you've got a coach who's concentrating on a skill set, and you see them bond together as a team, and you see them mature? I mean, there's a maternal instinct as a mom, but as a manager, to see the team gel, what kind of gratification does that bring to you?
It's joy and happiness, because we're having players from different culture. We have players from the Jamaican background, African background.
Look at Alawas, and his family's from Nigeria, for
That's
instance.
correct. In Nigeria, we have from Afghanistan, we have Colombian, we have Argentina, and not to mention, we have quite a few Indian kids on our team also with background from India, and we have Sri Lankan, and Italian. So it's a diverse group, and one of the things that we were complimented also in New Brunswick, that how Hedi Othman, the coach, able to get all these players to play together as one team.
Yeah. When you talk about playing together as a team, Hedi, I mean, you have to practice on surfaces in gyms. So it's a completely different place. If for anybody who's ever played the game, the skill of being able to stop the ball, manipulate the ball, protect the ball, all those techniques are practiced time and time again. You play on turf. That is the actual game surface you play on, but you practice on hard gym surfaces. First of all, how do you have to change the way that you train, and how difficult is it to find facilities in the city of Brampton to be able to bring a championship team like you did back to this city?
It is interesting to highlight that it's really a different skill set when you play on different surfaces. The gym surface is completely different from a turf or grass surface, and also the size. We have to play the league games and the big competitions 11v11, which is a regulation size field, while most of our practices are in the small gyms. So we try to focus on training on skill, but you can use that skill as more futsal type of training, some conditioning, but really it's not the game itself that we practice and train for.
So you've trained and brought a championship team back to Brampton. You also won the Ontario Cup in 2015. What does Brampton have to do to be able to foster more teams like yourself? What can both the city and the province and the people of Brampton do to help bring more teams, Hedi, like you've brought to this town?
The game is grown considerably in Brampton, and what we need to attain a higher level now is a little more funding. We've got very, very good talent here, and the coaching staff work really hard. What we need is facilities. So we're talking about covered surfaces where we can have turf and
what
practice.
about a bubble? I mean, they do that in very many cities.
Yeah.
Do we have a grass surface in the summertime that would be acceptable, that if we put a bubble over top of it, it still would be a viable practice location in the winter?
Yes, and we've played in facilities like that. We compete against teams that have those facilities. Milton is one of them. We travel and we play against Milton in their own bubble.
Right.
And, if we had that here, we could practice the 11v11.
So how do we go about asking the city or trying to generate funding? I don't know what a bubble like that would cost. I mean, that's something that we should investigate, because I mean, you got a championship team. It looks like you got a good recipe happening. Let's quickly, with just about under 2 minutes left, let's talk about next steps. You have a dream. You have something that you want to do. You have a dream that you want to take this team. Tell our folks at home where you want to go and what your dream is.
It's been a question since we won the national championship. I'm asked often, what is the next step? My dream would be to go to Europe and get into very good tournaments, so we can show our skill, and I'm confident we'll do well. So to do that, we need a lot of assistance financially, and also if we have the covered surfaces, then we can practice more and improve our skill to compete.
So Janet, there's the dream. You're the manager. With just under a minute, where can we get in contact with the Brampton East Blades, and how can we get involved? Because we need a sponsor from Brampton, or a couple, that will help fulfill Hedi's dream and take the Brampton East Blades to Europe to a tournament. How do we do that?
Okay, you can contact the Brampton East Blades through Facebook, Brampton East Blades, and also through the Brampton East Soccer Club. My email address is there, jlo81267@gmail.com. So, and you'll get all the information there. And also, we also available on Twitter at Brampton East Blades 02.
Perfect. Janet Othman and Coach Hedi Othman, they are the national champions of the Brampton East Blades for under 14 soccer championships. Born, bred, raised, practiced, and won here in Brampton. Thank you so much for bringing the honor to Brampton. We wish you the best of luck. Hope we can find someone to assist in sponsoring. And we do want to take this team to Europe. My name is Michael A. Charbon. You've been watching Brampton Focus. We appreciate you watching us. If you have any comments or any criticisms, show ideas, you can always reach us at bramptonfocus.ca. Once again, thanks for watching. Oh, we want to thank our two gentlemen too. That was Adam Othman and Alawasan Uyagule, number 17 and the captain of the Brampton East Blade. Once again, thank you very much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.